Welcome to Anti-Aging Insights, where age is a state of mind and aging is a treatable condition. And now, here is your host, Dr. Teri Fisher.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Anti-Aging Insights podcast. As always, it's wonderful to have you along for this episode. Today, we are talking about something really exciting, a new technology that is there to help us treat those with acne. As you may be aware, there are a number of treatments out there for acne, including topical creams, oral medications, antibiotics, and similar types of prescription medications. But did you know that there is a laser now that you can use to treat acne? Well, that is what this episode is all about. And to talk about this topic, I am thrilled to have Caroline Saunders as our guest. She is the key account manager for Cutera, and they are the company behind this brand new laser for acne called AviClear. Caroline supports AviClear, and she helps practices to realize their full potential through unique partnerships, and she works closely to help clinics achieve their goals. And of course, that means helping patients to achieve their goals, and in this case, that means minimizing their acne, or in some cases, even eliminating the acne. So this is very exciting, and let's get right into it. Here is Caroline Saunders. Welcome to the Anti-Aging Insights podcast, Caroline. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to speak to you about this new device, AviClear, because it seems to be taking the world by storm when it comes to acne. But before we get to that, I'd like to ask you to introduce yourself a little bit to the listener, just a brief background about who you are and what you do.
My name's Caroline. I'm a key account manager for the medical device company Cutera. They're out of Brisbane, California, but I manage AviClear and a lot of our other consumable devices. So that includes our Secret Pro, True Flex, True Sculpt. So we've got a little bit of mix of skin revitalization, body, and then now, and most excitingly now, acne. It's just, honestly, I'm really excited to just be a part of the company while we're doing this breakthrough of a launch. I mean, to be part of, an innovation that's the first innovation in the acne industry in about 40 years is pretty remarkable.
Very cool. And this is exactly why I wanted to have you here, because it's not too often that you really have a new technology that comes that is disrupting something. And I think there's a real potential here with AviClear. So let's start from the basics. This is an acne treatment. Maybe you can explain a little bit about what is AviClear.
Yeah, so AviClear is the first and original FDA and Health Canada approved energy-based device for the treatment of mild, moderate, and severe acne. So there's no major side effects, works for all skin types. There isn't really a big age limit, like as long as you have acne, we can treat you. So it's a pretty remarkable device in the case that, you're not looking at the regular downtime and the regular commitment that you have with a lot of other traditional acne therapies. We're also looking at acne treatment. So there have been a lot of other modalities that have come out over the years for acne management, treating the symptoms of acne. What's cool about AviClear is we're actually treating the acne at the source. So it doesn't matter what the cause is of your acne. A lot of people have a lot of different misconceptions around acne that, it's due to their diet, it's due to their lifestyle. And we really want to get away from patients thinking that their acne is something that is their fault or something that they've tried to control themselves but are unable to, because we want to debunk those myths, because the majority of acne is caused by genetics and influences that are out of our control, like hormones. And we want to make sure that patients understand that we have a technology that can treat the true cause of acne. And with AviClear, we're actually addressing that cause directly. And that causes the overproduction of sebum by the sebaceous glands.
And so that's specifically what you're targeting. So it's a laser, right?
Yes.
That's essentially what the product is.
Yes. So this is actually a brand new wavelength. So if you're familiar out there, if you're a laser technician listening or a doctor listening, you're familiar with wavelengths and you're familiar with chromophores. So with this laser, we actually added a new chromophore onto the map. So sebum and oil is our new target. And this target is a specific 1726 nanometer wavelength. So brand new to the laser world. It's never been seen before. There have been inklings and thoughts about what this wavelength could do for acne for a while now in the aesthetic space, but no one knew how to put it into a box and deliver it safely to the skin until we did. And I know this technology is pretty new to a lot of people out there, but it was in R&D with our team for 7 years. We have clinical data 3 years out. So AviClear is not new to us as much as it's new to the world.
Wow. So for those patients that are listening, can you explain a little bit, what is a chromophore? What does that mean for the laser and for the treatment of acne?
Yeah, absolutely. So a chromophore is kind of what we're trying to target with a laser. So for a vascular laser, you're looking at hemoglobin. For a pigmented laser that's trying to remove sunspots, we're looking at melanin. Similar to hair removal, also targeting that melanin in that hair follicle. So now we're actually targeting the oil. And with almost sniper-like precision, we're using this laser to downregulate sebaceous glands, which are the main root cause of your acne. And the overproduction of sebum is one of the main causes of really inflamed, that chronic, moderate to severe level acne. And by down-regulating that sebaceous gland activity, down-regulating those sebocytes, denaturing that gland, we actually reduce the sebaceous gland activity and prevent the overproduction of that sebum. Now, the reason that we're trying to reduce this sebum production is that the sebum is acne bacteria's #1 favorite food source. It's where they love to live, it's where they love to eat, it's where they thrive. So if we essentially remove that environment, the acne can no longer thrive there. So it allows patients' skins to kind of reset back to a stage where they aren't as bothered by acne. And when we have sebaceous glands that are overactive, it hasn't always been that way, right? I try to get patients to think of the time when they were 9 years old. Did you have any problems with your skin when you were 9 years old? Was it perfect? Was it flawless? Was it soft? Do you have any acne or wrinkles? No, because your sebaceous glands weren't overactive yet. But then we hit puberty, and all the lovely things that come along with puberty, our sebaceous glands also become overactive in that time. So what we're trying to do is essentially reset the sebaceous gland to that prepubescent stage where your skin is soft, it's supple, and it's just not bothered by acne at all.
Right. What's really interesting to me is that it's a totally new modality. As a physician, for years, I've treated acne with medications, topical, whether they're topical creams, or whether it's oral medications. A lot of listeners, I'm sure, are familiar with Accutane and some of the side effects and the monitoring that has to go along with that. So now to have this laser, and that's very exciting to me, and I'm sure it's exciting to you and the company as well.
Yeah, I think it's been a long time coming that we have a option for acne sufferers that doesn't come with a long list of side effects. There's not a lot of medical tests that you have to do. With AviClear, you just literally sign on for the 3 laser treatments. We recommend that you take home a mild or moderate skincare protocol, depending on what you think that commitment is. It's just a gentle moisturizer, gentle cleanser, and sunscreen, of course. But there are a lot of side effects with a lot of traditional acne therapies that are available for patients, including isotretinoin. And for AviClear, we wanted to get results for patients that would be super comparable to that of isotretinoin without that long list, without the worry of a lot of parents, because you've got some pretty young patients these days. And I guess for a long time that have suffered with acne, where that was kind of the only option if you had moderate or severe acne.
So let's get into a little bit more about who is this for? Is it for people with very mild acne, moderate acne, severe acne? Like, who does it work for?
Yeah, so great question. This is a great solution for any severity of acne. And whether you have inflammatory, those big nasty cysts, pustules, or non-inflammatory, so blackheads, we can treat that. So whether it's mild, moderate, or severe, in terms of age, we're looking at, as long as there are acne lesions on the face, you can typically treat that patient. But, of course, when you're looking at a younger patient, you do want to make sure that they're comfortable with the laser treatment. Going for your first laser when you're 13 is a lot different than when you're 20 and you've tried laser hair removal and you're used to that. So I always recommend that mom or dad comes along and holds the hand, just because lasers seem scary. They do. There's something you hear in sci-fi movies, right? Now we're trying to put one to your face. It might be a little bit daunting for those younger patients, but as long as you have acne lesions, we can treat you. Even if you have one pimple, if you're someone who has suffered from severe acne for many years. Maybe it just popped up with what feels like overnight, and you're trying to clear your skin and prevent scarring. That's a huge, huge concern for a lot of patients that have acne early on in their life, is that they're worried about scarring. And scarring treatments themselves are extremely expensive. So if you can treat the acne almost proactively once you already see some acne lesions, prevent future acne from happening, and address the scarring at the same time, that's going to be huge for a lot of these patients. And I'd also like to mention, it is cleared in Canada for acne scarring. We do see that skin revitalization with those treatments. So it's kind of like an all-in-one situation, which I think is really amazing. And I don't think it's talked enough about, that we can actually address acne scarring, active lesions, and prevent future breakouts from happening.
Right. So I have had the opportunity to see some of the before and after photos.
Yes.
And some of the results. Is there a way to articulate that for those that are just listening to the audio here? You've been around for 3 years now.
Yeah.
What kind of results can somebody expect from this?
Yeah, so we've been around for 3 years in terms of what our data brings forward, right? We did our first clinical trials peak COVID. So that was in 2020. It's now 2023. In terms of when we actually came to market, that was just last March in the States and just last July in Canada. So in terms of results, we're kind of looking at a full year out. And how I like to describe the AviClear treatment process is you do 3 treatments, and then you've got a healing phase. And that healing phase can be different for everyone. But of course, if you're coming from a more severe level of acne, you will need more healing time. You just have further to go to get to clear skin. That doesn't mean you're not going to get there. You just need a little bit more time for your skin to adapt to the treatment that it's had, to potentially debride itself, and to just get to the level of clarity that you want. Now, in terms of a majority of patients, we see a 2 IGA score improvement 3 months following the final treatment series. So when I say IGA,
what is that IGA? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I explain this every day, so I just head right into it. But when I say IGA score, it stands for Investigators Global Assessment. And this is a grading scale that we use in a lot of dermatology studies to grade the severity of some sort of condition. So for acne, we look at the IGA score as 0 is clear, 1 is almost clear, 2 is mild, 3 is moderate, and 4 is severe. So for the majority of patients through our clinical trials, we saw 2 IGA score improvement just 3 months following their final treatment. So what that would look like is they would do 3 treatments spaced 3 to 4 weeks apart, and then we'd see them for a 1-month follow-up. But at that 3-month follow-up, we would expect a 2 IGA score improvement. Now, what does that mean for those patients? So for the mild patients, they would go from a mild, which is a 2, to 1 to 0. So those mild patients could very well be clear at the 3-month mark. For the moderate patients, they would go from 3 to 2 to 1. So they're looking at almost clear by that 3-month mark. So of course, they need a little bit more time. We don't say that your results are full stop done at that 3-month mark. That's why we say we have that healing period from the final treatment to 12 months out, because we do see continuous improvement in the vast majority of patients long after the treatment series is completed. And best results are like 1 year out. So similarly, for severe patients that are at a 4, 2 IGA score improvement would have them at mild at the 3-month mark. So still a significant improvement in their acne. We see an average of 50% improvement by that 3-month mark in about 80% of our patients. That 50% improvement becomes 88% at 6 months, 92% at 12 months. So we do have evidence of that continuous improvement as time goes on. And I think healing period is the best way to describe it, because you can still have a mild breakout and your skin is still okay. The treatment did work, but your skin is just adjusting to it. So any breakouts that you have during your healing period will be shorter in duration, more milder in terms of nature, and should resolve a lot faster than usual, but they can still happen, and it's a totally normal thing to occur. And breakouts and purging, flare, whatever you want to call it, happens with the majority of acne therapies. Even if you're going for, say, a facial, like hydrofacial or jet peel or something like that, you could have a pimple a day or 2 after, because your skin is, you've stimulated that cellular turnover, and it's actually a good sign. Same with retinol, same with isotretinoin. that's something that you might come across with almost anything. Even if you buy a new skincare product and try it, you could see some sort of skin cell turnover, some bit of purging or flaring. So it's totally normal and it's a side effect that can happen. It happened in about 40% of our clinical trial patients, but all of the patients look absolutely phenomenal at their 1 year mark and 2 years too.
Amazing. And I know you're still tracking data. I know that the longer we go, the more and more data that you're tracking, and the results just continue.
We are seeing exceptional long-term durable results. So I can't really disclose too much right now, but if it says anything, I signed myself up for AviClear. I didn't have too severe acne, but I started getting more severe acne than I've ever had in my life. I'd done retinol. I've been recommended doxycycline for 3 months. And funny enough, that dermatologist knows I work for the company. So I said, well, why wouldn't I do AviClear? So I did AviClear on myself for hormonal acne, because again, there's not much out there for hormonal acne patients without a long list of side effects. So I did it for myself. I'm already seeing awesome results. I've had a lot of people comment on my skin, just the overall clarity of it. I've also noticed my skin type has become a little bit regular in terms of I was a quintessential combination skin patient through the summertime, dry as a desert in winter. And now my skin is just kind of normal all over. So not only do I have the reduction in acne, my skin type has become a little bit better regulated. And we see that in a lot of oily combination skin patients as well. So not only are you treating your acne scarring, but if you use 5 or 6 oil control products every single day, and oil control is a really big issue for you, this is a great treatment for that.
Great. And you just mentioned something that made me think of another question I think it's important for us to highlight is skin types, because I know a lot of lasers, there are restrictions on the different types of skin that they can be used on safely. What about AviClear?
Every skin type. Every skin type is good for AviClear. In our clinical trials, we treated up to Fitzpatrick 6, not a single incident of hypo or hyperpigmentation. So that is something we're super proud of. You know, we don't want to be singling out any sort of skin type or skin reactive group for a laser treatment. We wanted to make sure this was a laser treatment that could be accessible for everyone, that worked for everyone. And also, if you are someone that suffers from melasma, this treatment is safe for you as well. It's not going to treat the melasma, but it's not going to make it worse. So a lot of patients that are struggling with melasma can safely do this laser based on the contact cooling that we use with the AviCool patented technology.
I'd like to ask you 1 or 2 more questions here before we wrap up. Do you have any feedback from patients or from clinicians or real kind of fun success stories? What's the vibe coming back to you now that this has been available for a little bit of time on the market?
I mean, it's tough to say just in my field specifically, because I think the first AviClear we got in British Columbia only landed in about September. So we don't have our 12-month data in my territory quite yet. But we've seen some pretty amazing stories already with patients that are seeing sooner than expected results. I remember I helped treat a patient out in Victoria at Hamilton Cosmetic Dermatology. She is a very competitive fighter. So she does boxing. I think it's boxing, if not wrestling. I apologize if I got that wrong, but she had very severe acne, very severe nodulistic acne. And she wore a full face of makeup every day for her training, just so self-conscious of her acne. She wouldn't look at people when she was walking down the street because she was worried that they would look at her. We took her makeup off for her first treatment, and she was in an empty waiting room, and she started bawling her eyes out. She was just so uncomfortable being without her makeup on. And we've completed all of her treatments, and she is looking so good, and she is getting her braces off just in time for her graduation for grade 12. And I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it, because some of these patients have suffered with acne for so long, and the difference that these treatments are providing, not only for the actual lesions and the scarring, but for their livelihoods, and, not looking at people in the face in the streets worrying that they're going to think about your acne. That takes such a heavy mental toll. And to think that takes up so much space and so much energy every single day. I mean, for her to be clear and to also be getting her braces off in time for her grade 12 graduation. It's just something that you want to, sing from rooftops about. It's just such I know I'm at a loss for words. It's such an extraordinary story and just event to be a part of.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I know that at Anti-Aging, where we have it, it's almost impossible to book a time because it's booked solid. As the word gets out, it's incredible. I'm so excited about it. And like I say, it's not that often that something comes along that kind of disrupts the treatment of a condition like this. Caroline, maybe you can just share some resources or where people can go to look up more about this if they want to learn more about the treatment.
AviClear.com is going to be your resource for everything. There's also a physician locator embedded there. So if you want to look and find a provider near you, you can definitely go to AviClear.com. We're also on social media, AviClear Canada as well, Cutera Inc., Cutera Canada. We're all over. So please be sure to check us out. You can also, if you feel like you want to message me personally, you can message me at Cutera_Caroline. That's cute. And then RA_Caroline. And I'd be happy to chat to you. I do a lot of kind of consultations through DMs. I get a lot of people messaging me just because I've got AviClear expert in my bio and I'm constantly commenting on things and posting things. And patients just want to know where they fit in. And it can be pretty intimidating going to clinics for a consultation about acne and even events about acne. We have to look at everything that we do normally for supporting practices a lot differently because the average acne patient doesn't want to be in a room full of people they don't know. So it's much more comfortable for them, message me directly or message AviClear or Cutera Canada and figure out whatever information they're hoping to learn.
Great. Well, that's wonderful. Well, Caroline, again, really, really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today. Really excited about this treatment. I'm excited to have patients come in and experience it themselves. So thank you, first of all, so much for sharing some of your time. It's really, really appreciated.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure, Dr. Fisher. Really, thank you for having me on. I'm always happy to talk about acne and AviClear. Like I said, it's something I talk about all day, every day. So thank you for having me on the podcast. I'm so glad to have done my first podcast with you.
That's great. Well, I'm sure that we're going to get lots of patients asking about AviClear now. And the other thing I was going to say is just thank you for always being there to educate patients about this because it's a really important topic, obviously. And now we have something, we always had things that patients could use, but now we have something really special, I think. So thanks.
Yeah. I think it's about time that we've had something, like I said, that was safe for all skin types. You can do it all summer long as you wear sunscreen, and something that doesn't come along with the heavy list of side effects and with no downtime, something you can just do on a lunch break or between after school activities. It's only about an hour out of your day. So I think it can fit in with a lot of people's lifestyles pretty seamlessly.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you again. I hope we'll have a chance to chat at some point in the future again. Maybe we'll do an update on AviClear at some point in the future.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk again.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Dr. Fisher.
Thanks a lot. Well, there you have it. An incredible technology, something that is new, something that is disrupting acne, and I am so excited about it. I'm seeing patients be so excited about it, and I absolutely wanted to share this news with you. So if you are suffering from acne, if you know someone that is suffering from acne, or you want to just have more conversations about treatment options for this, including, of course, the AviClear Laser, then please get in touch with us at Anti-Aging Medical and Laser Clinic in Vancouver. You can check out our website at antiagingvancouver.com, where we have lots of information about these treatments. As well, you can always reach out to me on Instagram. I am at Dr. Teri Fisher, at DrTerifisher, and I'd be happy to chat with you about this as well. Finally, once again, I want to thank Caroline for taking some of her time to share her knowledge with us. It's really exciting, as I said a number of times now, and I look forward to seeing where we go with this and seeing all the great results that we get from the patients that come in for these treatments. If you are coming in for a treatment, please mention to our staff that you heard about this on the podcast. We would love to know that that is how you learned about this, and it goes a long way to help us to determine which podcast content you find most valuable. So thank you once again. The website again is antiagingvancouver.com, and I look forward to speaking with you again very soon. Take care.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of Anti-Aging Insights. Stay tuned to discover more of the latest news, treatments, technologies, and developments in non-surgical cosmetic and anti-aging medicine. For more inspiration, to access the show notes, or to book an appointment with Dr. Fisher, Dr. Frame, or any of the other anti-aging professionals, please visit our website at antiagingvancouver.com. Until next time, stay inspired and live life well.